Yeah. We rolling deep across our 10 in the dirty south where the rivers blend from Lake Charles to Baton Rouge. We riding with the Saints under them southern skies. We hustle hard, ain't no time to stop. Drive to the top, it's our time to shine. From NOLA's hard, we redefine the grind. Southwest Louisiana, stand up proud. With every beat, we bring the heat, hear the crowd. From Houston streets to Lafayette, Long McNeese. Right, let the raging cages flow. DJ 30 South, turn it up loud. Marking our vibes, yeah, we make our proud. Get on the bus, we coming alive. Drive to the top, it's our time to shine. From NOLA's hard, we redefine the grind. Southwest Louisiana, stand up proud.
Yeah, we are back. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions and, of course, Dirty South Entertainment. It's your boy, Mark. Dirty South is back in this bitch. What's up, everybody, on this wonderful Thursday? It is July 30th, 2026. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week. I know it's hot outside. Stay hydrated. Stay cool. It's a hot one, and it's going to get worse when we get to the month of August, which is in 2 days. But before we get any further, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can find me on X at DirtySouthENT_. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, Driving to the Top. Of course, you can find everywhere as well. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, and so forth. Tonight's episode is presented by Rogue Energy, the official gaming drink of On The Go, and POGGERS, the official vitamin supplement of On The Go. Pick your poison. Go to rogueenergy.com, download it on any mobile device, or go to poggers.shop and use that promo code right there, OTG, to get 10% off of your order. Tell them I sent you. Now, before I do my usual routine, let me give you a quick update. This is the one you've been waiting for. I will be previewing LSU football tonight. It is July 30th. I'm going to preview that tonight. I've been looking forward to this one. This one might be the longest one I'm ever going to do. But before we get to all that stuff, let's talk about one of the biggest elephants in the room that involved in the world of sports. It's like every time, it's always on a Friday, something big drops that I got to wait a whole week to talk about. Well, in the basketball world, we've been waiting for one man to make a decision, and he did. Give a quick thought about this. LeBron James going to Philly to play with the Sixers. This is his 24th season in the NBA. He's been with Cleveland. He's been with Miami, back to Cleveland, then to LA. Now he's going to Philly to go play with the likes of Joe Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, just to name a few. 2-year, $8 million veteran minimum contract, which means, of course, he's guaranteed $8 million over the next 2 years. He's a veteran minimum. Plus, he also gets the player option included in his second year, which means if his first year don't go the way he wants, he can option out and just leave the team, go retire, go play for somebody else, whatever he wants to do. The trade kicker, he gets a 15% bonus guaranteed if traded in the first year. And he will wear the number 23 yet again. He only wore number 6 with the likes of Miami and LA, but he's going to wear 23 with the Philadelphia 76ers. Looking at Chase's 5th NBA championship in his record-breaking 24th season, and is expected to play alongside Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, to name a few. This one I didn't really think about. I mean, I know I'm my hatred for LeBron and everything, but I don't know why. I thought he was going to go back to Cleveland or going to go to State. Now he's heading east. He's heading back to the east. He's going to play with Philly. And, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, to be honest, I mean, if this would have happened maybe like 10, 15 years ago, Philly could be a dangerous team. But I can't picture in just one season turn this team all the way around. Yeah, I know the Phillies made the playoffs last season but didn't get too far. But I don't know, man. I don't, especially in that division he's in. He's going to be in the same division with the defending champs, the Knicks, with the king himself, Jalen Brunson, now the king of New York, with Karl Anthony Towns. Going to be playing against him quite often. And then you got the Boston Celtics in that division as well. I don't think you'll have a problem with teams like the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors, but the East is going, I mean, well, that division alone is going to come down to the Knicks again or even the Celtics. Let the Philly fans enjoy this. I mean, Philly fans are crazy. But LeBron's going to get a real taste of reality of how these Philly fans can be. Oh, they're happy to have him because the GOAT is now on their team. But if he don't deliver and give them what they want, they will cut him so fast. They will shit talk him so quicker that he can't imagine the actual haters do. They'll be burning his jerseys in seconds. Philly fans are fucking out of control, folks. We saw how they act when the Eagles don't win. You sure know how they act when the Phillies don't win. I don't think they could care less about the Flyers. Flyers might be the weakest link of the city. But we'll see what happens when the time comes. But in reality, I don't see. I mean, maybe they can make the playoffs, but I don't see them winning a division. They're not going to win that little division title, not with the Celtics and the Knicks up there. It's going to be one of them. And definitely not going to be a team to win the East. In reality, I know we still got months before we get to the NBA. We're finally getting into the football fever. But my top three dangerous teams in the East going into the 26-27 season, Knicks, the Heat, and the Celtics. That's like my top three right there I could see winning the East. Because remember, Miami's going to be dangerous. They got Giannis going to Miami to play with Klay Thompson and all those other guys. You mean the Celtics, you got Tatum. Hell, you even got Jaylen Brown now with the Celtics. Be a dangerous team. And then, of course, you got the king of New York himself, Jalen Brunson, with Karl Anthony Towns, Jose Alvarado, that young team who is a predicted favorite to go back-to-back in the NBA Finals. But one of them three going to clinch the East, in my opinion. This, like, summer league prediction of who's going to win the NBA Finals. Not the NBA Finals, win the Eastern Conference. The West, it's like my top three to win the West. It's like you got the San Antonio Spurs, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Houston Rockets. Like, that's my three to win the West right there. So you heard it from here. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Anything can happen. But I just don't see him completely turn this team around. And in just 1 year with the Sixers, he brings them all the way. I just can't see it happening. Not in the stage he's in right now. He's like in his 40s now. I think, what is he, like 42, 43? I know he's in his 40s. His time's coming. I mean, I'll give him 1 year before if it don't go the way he wants, I think he retires. He's finally going to hang it up. I'll give him 1 year with Philly. I don't see him playing two. The only way I see it happening is if he brings the Sixers to a finals and a deep run where they might come up short or win it all. That's the only way I can see him playing 2 years. But until then, no, I don't. I see him 1 year and he's done. One and done with the Sixers right there. But that's all I got on that big news with LeBron going to the Sixers. But let's go ahead and get this show rolling. Let's go start this in H-Town because, man, I got a lot of stuff Houston-related we can talk. And let's go ahead and jump straight to the shell, folks. Let's go to the 713 and jump straight to some Dynamo talk. Let's go, baby. All right, folks, this is Dynamo Talk, where we're going to be talking the Houston Dynamo. And let me just say, I've never been so proud of this club, baby, because this past Saturday, I was at the Shell. I was at the Texas Derby when they took on Austin FC. This looked like a whole different team. And let me just tell you what, I am so proud that I was at this matchup and they handled their business like they were supposed to. Have a little technical difficulty here on the might have to pop it up here. Let's see. I hope my internet's good on y'all's side. All right, here we go. I was having a little issue here. Well, I'll tell you what my problem was. I didn't even get nothing typed up for the Astros, but I got some news I can give to y'all on that. But I got what I need to talk about the Houston Dynamo. They handled their business. They kicked ass. They beat Austin FC 3-0. Probably the best matchup I saw, not just all season so far, probably in the last 3 years. And that was the best Dynamo matchup I've been to in the last 3 years. Well, since 2023, I've went to 4 matchups. This was the best one I've been to. They won 3-0. So now that puts the Dynamo at 8 wins, 2 draws, 6 losses. They're 5th in the Western Conference right now. So they're moving up. They're slowly moving on up in the West. A couple statistics in this matchup. They had 4 shots on goal out of 10 shots. 1 shot blocked. 9 attempts in the box. 1 attempt out the box. 5 big chances created but missed 2. 4 through balls. 16 touches in the opposition box. They won 1 corner. They had 5 saves, 13 goal kicks, 15 shots faced, 2 total high claims, 10 tackles, 10 interceptions, 10 clearances, 35 recoveries, 385 accurate passes out of 427 passes, 318 total back zone passes, 117 forward zone passes, 18 accurate long balls, 3 accurate crosses, 13 total throws, 12 fouls, 3 offsides, and 2 yellow cards. The star of this matchup went to Matheus Boguesa. Yeah, he scored 2 goals in this matchup. The first one was in 12 minutes of play. He had a right-footed shot from the center of the box to the center of the goal, assisted by Ezequiel Ponce. And then in 29 minutes, Bogues scores again with a right-footed shot from the center of the box to the bottom left corner, assisted by Gilliherm. Speaking of Gilliherm, he scored the 3rd and final goal of that matchup in 32 minutes of play. It's like within 3 minutes, goal, then goal. We were on fire that night. But Gilliherm hit a right-footed shot from the left side of the box to the bottom right corner, assisted by Augustin Bozart. Bozat. I said his name wrong. But, hey, great performance, man. Like I said, that was the best matchup I saw all season with the Houston Dynamo. And it's hopefully they can make it better and keep on going. I thought I'd share a little bit more with them since they made me so excited. A couple of leaders here. Top scorer so far this season, of course, is Matheus Bogues. In 16 matchups, he scored 4 goals, the most this season. Right behind him is Lawrence Anali with 3, Hector Herrera and Jack McGlynn with 2 goals this season, and with Felipe Andrade, Abraham Alayu, and Eric Shavachino with only 1 goal so far this season. But Jack McGlynn on top of the board in assists this season with 4. Lawrence Anali's in second place with 2 assists, and Matheus Bogues with 1, along with Ezequiel Ponce, Hector Herrera, Andre Linger, Felipe Andrade, Augustin Bozat, and Arter with only 1 assist so far this season. Let's see. In performance so far this season, the most – well, this would be a tie right here. It says most goals scored this season. It was their 3-2 win over Portland back in March, but now you can put the Austin matchup in there. Most goals they've ever scored on the road so far this season was 4 at LAFC back on May 10th. Goals conceded, the most they've had was 2 against LAFC at the end of February. On the road, they've allowed 6 goals, courtesy of Colorado in April. The most winning margin they've had was a 3-game win streak, and the longest losing streak they've had so far this season was 4. Or winning margin. Correction, I got that wrong. Largest winning margin they had this season was 3 goals. Largest losing margin was 4. No, their longest winning streak was 2 games. Longest unbeaten streak so far this season was 4, and they're still their current. Longest losing streak, they had 3 consecutive losses, and longest winless losses was 3 so far this season. That's their stats as of right now. So what's coming up next for the Dynamo? Well, we said no matchups this week with All-Star going on. But coming into the month of August, they will have 6 matchups coming in August. And it'll be a little while before they're back at home in the shell. This Saturday, they're on the road at Kansas City on August 1st. Saturday, August 8th, they go to New England to play the Revolution. They will be back at the shell August 15th to host the LA Galaxy. Their only Wednesday night matchup of the season will be August 19th. They will go to Vancouver to play the Whitecaps, a team they beaten earlier this season when Vancouver was the number 1 seed. Saturday, August 22nd, they go to St. Louis, and then they wrap up the month of August at home against San Jose, who is currently the number 2 team in the West right now. So they have beaten the number 1 seed once at home. Can they do it with the number 2 seed? So that's all I got on some Dynamo talk, and hopefully they can keep it rolling because, like I said, they made me proud. I hope they can keep this going. And speaking of football, I want to get on the other side, talk about another football real quick. I wasn't going to leave this team behind. I thought maybe I can give an update, but I'm gonna break down. Let's change it to NRG real fast, and I'm gonna give you guys a little update on the Houston Texans training camp. I didn't want to leave this team behind. I got some bit of an update on the New Orleans Saints when I get to the 504. But for the Houston Texans, they opened their 2026 training camp yesterday at the Houston Methodist Training Center at Energy Park under D'Amico Ryan, where he's preparing for his milestone 25th season with the franchise. Rookies reported back on July 21st, while the veterans reported on Tuesday the 28th. Camp's going to go on throughout the 31st of August. There will be open practices on August 3rd, the 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 7th, the 8th, the 10th, and the 18th. They will have a joint practice with the Las Vegas Raiders on August 18th, featuring Kyle's Cookout presented by HEB. They will also do another joint practice late in the month of August with the Carolina Panthers, but they will do that in Charlotte ahead of their August 28th preseason game. A few observations here. Let's start with the quarterback himself, C.J. Stroud, who he displayed a sharp, quick decision-making under center during the opening days, getting rid of the ball in under 2.8 seconds on the vast majority of his passing reps. So that could be whether he was under pressure or he just gets it out the pocket. But one thing known about them Ohio State quarterbacks, they know how to get rid of the ball fast, and this is nothing new to C.J. Stroud. I think he knows how to quick and release quick to get to his, whether if he's throwing it to a running back or a receiver. It could be like whether if it's a screen pass or a crossover. C.J. Stroud knows how to get rid of the ball quick with or without under pressure. A few roster additions here. David Montgomery taking a major backfield role in the revamped offense. So former Detroit Lion himself. I think he also played with other teams. Now with the Houston Texans, maybe we could see his name get called a bit in the backfield because, there's going to be a list of other running backs you might hear throughout the season, but one in particular I think you'll definitely hear more is David Montgomery. A few standouts in plays, I'll say this. Jaden Higgins, who increased the development work with CJ, while Elijah Huzzy at cornerback recorded an impressive interception off the backup in David Mills. So nice to see a little bit going on both sides there. We know what the offense can do, but the defensive backs, they're killing it. Like, shouts to Elijah Huzzy. I think he's trying to earn his spot, and I think we're going to get something special with him. Let's go back to yesterday. Let's see what we got here. There's a possibility that C.J. Stroud will reach a contract extension, even though he isn't focused on much on contract discussion, but he's letting his agent handle it. So possibly we'll know within a week or two. I got another player who's talked about getting a contract extension for the New Orleans Saints. I'll talk about in a bit. C.J. Stroud going into his fourth year with the Texans, coming out of Ohio State, and he's looking for an extension where D'Amico Ryan stated that if they don't get into a lot of deep discussion with guys when it comes to the contract situations, but with the way he's been with the team all season, I'm sure CJ is going to get an extension, and he'll be sticking around for a while. Moving while, let's see what happened on the first day of training camp here. Speaking of CJ Stroud, well, make it day 2 if you want to count it, but like I know they had official like practices. Some teams went helmets, some went shells, some went full pads. Some teams are different. Don't know how the Texans started their training camp today. I haven't seen no highlights or videos or anything. I'm just going with what I'm reading. CJ doing with the quick passes, getting rid of the ball with less than 3 seconds. So great wideouts like Jaden Higgins. They're continuing that day after day. But hey, you're gonna have your good days and bad days. Said Jaden Higgins did drop a few passes, but I mean, got to shake the rust off a little bit there. But as of right now, I mean, yeah, it's only been a couple of days. By next week, I will have a few more updates on both training camps when it comes to the Texans and the Saints. But this is what I had for the Houston Texans as of right now. And I'll give you guys more info next week with their training camp as we count down for their first preseason matchup. Well, I want to throw this in. Speaking of football, let me get this topic typed up. When it comes to football, the only teams each town are going to be passionate for is your Texans, the Houston Cougars, Rice. But one particular team I was waiting to hear about, their days are already numbered. The Houston Gamblers are officially gone. They've folded this team along with the Birmingham Stallions in the United Football League. I had a feeling this was coming. And you know what? I'm not even mad about it. I didn't even watch a match. I didn't even watch a game this past season. Ever since they changed the team mascot, no one wants this fucking team. You should have kept the Houston Roughnecks. Then we'd have been cooking. But I think once they killed the Roughneck franchise, the little spring football franchise was killed with it. So the Houston Gamblers are no more. And we're happy about it. Because we didn't want this team. We wanted the Houston Roughnecks. But I think what shocked me was the Birmingham Stallions gone after they've won, 3 championships? They've won 2 USFL titles, 1 UFL title, or they won 3 straight USFLs. I don't even remember. But Birmingham's not a freaking market city. Last I've heard, Birmingham had the 3rd lowest attendance. Houston, I think, had the worst of the worst. No one gives a shit about crap in Birmingham. Everyone in Birmingham is just people that go to Tuscaloosa to watch the Crimson Tide or go to Talladega for the races. That's all they care about in Birmingham. Besides UAB. I think UAB could fill out Progressive Stadium more than the Stallions could. But I don't even know why I'm talking that. I'm just thrown in as like a curveball with now, is the league going to fold? I don't think it will fold, but they were talking about expanding the league. Well, you're going to have to find 2 more teams after you got rid of the Stallions and you got rid of the Gamblers. What about teams like the St. Louis Battlehawks, the DC Defenders, the Renegades? Are they safe? I forgot who else is in that league, but Houston, they got a problem. Well, I wouldn't even call it a problem. I think we got rid of the problem. A spring football team no one gave a shit about is finally in the dust. Well, I got one more thing H-Town related, then we're going to take it to the 337, but let's take it back to the Diamond. Let's go to Dyken Park. Let's go to the Icebox and do some Astros talk. Oh, yeah. We were about to have a problem talking the Astros, but beg to differ. They're improving better. Let's go. I am not on my game right now. I was supposed to change the background during the intro, but all right. This is some Astros talk. Now, I did say I had a small minor problem with the Astros, but to be honest with you, the Astros have actually been on a roll ever since the second half started. I mean, they swept the Miami Marlins. They've won the series against the White Sox, but I already knew they wasn't going to shut them out in a series, sweeping them with Ronel Blanco in his first debut start, which that was probably their worst game they've ever had since the second half started. But they handled their business with the Angels. So back to over the weekend, good news, they won the series over the White Sox. They took game 1 9-5. They took game 2 4-1, but they got decimated in Ronel Blanco's debut on the mound 12-3. But they handled their business with the Angels. They won 6-4 Monday night, 3-2 Tuesday night, and last night a comeback victory 7-4. And right now the Astros are 55-55. We are where we need to be. I said as we can get the record tied and they can move forward and get a better record than a losing record, we would be doing good right now. And I think a lot of people are not happy about it, but who gives a shit? We're the most hated team. Well, also big shouts. Brian Turner, what's going on? Peace. Appreciate it, man. Salute to the channel indeed. But I should have had some numbers typed up and everything, but I didn't get nothing typed up. But I can tell you this here. Right now, they're in second place in the AL West, right behind the Texas Rangers. And this weekend is part 4 of the Lone Star Series. I'll talk more about that in a bit, but as of right now, they are second in the AL West, while in the American League, they are, I want to say, 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're 8th in the American League. Overall, they're kind of in the middle. They're 16th overall in Major League Baseball. So 2, 8, 16. Well, this weekend they play the Texas Rangers, part 4 of the Lone Star Series. And the Astros have actually been doing great in the Lone Star Series. Yeah, they've had a couple of losses with the Rangers. Brian says, LSU fan here. I will be in attendance. Me too. Yeah, this biggest opening in Tiger Stadium history. And I wish I would be there for College game day. But unfortunately, I won't be there. But I will be at the game. I'm going to do some more talk on LSU when I get to the 225. So I got to keep Brian tuning in so I can get to that. So just a quick rundown of what the Astros got with the Rangers. I know they still haven't decided a starting pitcher for Sunday on the mound, but let's see if we can get an update here. I know tomorrow night, game 1, Hunter Brown is on the mound against Nathan Eovaldi. Hunter's making his 4th start of the season. He's our 2-1 as a starter. His ERA is 3.45. He's allowed 32 hits. He struck out 50 batters, and he only allowed 28 walks and 5 home runs. Nathan's 19th start of the season, by the way. Going into Saturday, August 1st, last I saw, I think it was Ronel Blanco making only his 2nd start. But hopefully he can improve. But Jacob deGrom might be one of their best pitchers for the Rangers. Yeah, he's 7-6 as a starter, but his ERA is 3.67. That's not bad. He's only allowed 94 hits. He struck out 132 batters this season and only allowed 24 walks, but he did allow 16 home runs. So that's his big weakness there. And as of right now, the Houston Astros still haven't decided who will start on Sunday against Kumar Rocker of the Rangers, just as long as it ain't Tetsuya Imai. I don't know what's wrong with him. I wish it had been Spencer Arguetti, but Spencer Arguetti's still out with an injury. I mean, we could possibly, like I said, maybe like a Stephen Okert could start. Brian Abreu could start. I don't know who's going to start on Sunday, to be honest with you. But stat leaders, I don't think nothing's changed. It's still Yordan across the board. He's still leading in everything on the batting side. His batting average, .321 this season, 35 home runs, 80 RBIs, 126 total hits, and his OPP for the season is .432. While on the pitching side, I think everything's still the same here. But Peter Lambert, leads with 8 wins as a starter this year. He also leads with 100 strikeouts. Steven Okert still leads with 15 holds, and Josh Hader still leads with 14 saves as of right now. But yeah, this weekend, it's the Texas Rangers. It's the Lone Star Series. Until going into next show, next Monday through August 3rd through the 5th, they host the Toronto Blue Jays. They'll get an off day the next time we're on the air, which will be Thursday, August 6th. So I'll have a quick recap of the Lone Star Series as well as their series with the Toronto Blue Jays. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But Brian also said, let's see, week 1 will come down to DJ Pickett and PJ Woodland versus Brian Wesco and TJ Moore. Yeah, possibly, man. We'll see that. But let me go to the 337 real quick. I got to give some love and shout out and big exciting news for one team that's still young in the city, but we love them so much. And it's just their 3rd season. They made it to the big dance. So let's get back on the bus and head to the 337 and talk those Gumbeaux Gators, folks.
I love to have a good time. I love to.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got a special topic for you guys. Let me rename this. I had Gumbeaux Gators update. Let me rephrase this. The Lake Charles Gumbeaux Gators, for the first time in franchise history, are going to the TCL championship. They made the playoffs, only the 2nd time in franchise history in 3 seasons. They got their first ever playoff win Tuesday night against the Acadiana Cane Cutters, and I was there for it. I was there for a historic moment. They won the game 2-1, so I don't have a picture of the bracket, but I love how it came down to one side of the bracket, it's Texas, the other side of the bracket is Louisiana. But it's a best out of 3. First team to get 2 out of 3 moves on to the championship, which will be Saturday, August 1st. 1 game, winner take all, no series. It's win or go home, 1 game. It'll be August 1st. Lake Charles punched their ticket. They beat the Cane Cutters Tuesday night 2-1, and they beat them again last night 3-1 to move on to the championship for the first time in franchise history. Now they're waiting on their opponent and to see where the game will be held. Well, the last I checked, because the series is tied. The Victoria Generals took game 1. I don't remember what the score was, but I know last night the Valley Bombers beat the Generals 5-0 last night, forcing a game 3. Last I saw, it was either 4-0, 5-0 Generals. So if the Generals win, they will host the championship game against the Gumbeaux Gators this Saturday. I was hoping the Valley Bombers would win because that would give the Gators home field advantage and host the championship game at the Geaux. But hey, a trip to Texas ain't going to be too bad at all. But Victoria will be a very dangerous team. They are the number 1 seed in the tournament. Lake Charles is 3 seed, upsetting number 2. So they've handled the Generals before. They've taken some wins and taken some losses with them. The only time I've ever seen them play Victoria in the inaugural season, they got beat. I don't remember. I don't know. I think it was like a 3-run, 4-run loss or something like that. But hey, I'm excited. If I can't be there, if it's in Victoria, I will pay the $10 and watch it on TCL's website because I gotta witness this history. I know there's a lot going on this weekend. We got SummerSlam on the wrestling side. I got the Lone Star Series to watch for the Astros. Watch the Houston Dynamo as well. I got a lot on my plate for the birthday weekend, but I got to make sure to watch the Gumbeaux Gators win their first ever title in the Texas Collegiate League. So chomp away. This is not for the Florida Gators, folks, but chomp away. Go Gators. Get that first championship if you're making your way to Victoria. Before I even wrap this up and go to what the real reason why we're here, let me get an update real fast before we go to the 225. Because like I said, last time I saw they were up 4-0. End of the 6th, Victoria up 5-2. So Brazos Valley got some runs in, but still got a little bit more baseball to play. Anything can happen. Generals win, they host it. If the Valley Bombers win, Gators host it in Louisiana. All right, you guys are ready? Let's go to the 225 and let's preview those LSU Tigers. I'm ready. You guys are ready? All right. Let's go. There's the video ad. Here we go. Oh, man, here we are. It's time to preview the 2026 season of the LSU Fighting Tigers. And first off, let me just say with a straight face, it is so good to be the bad guy right now in college football because we are not going to be the most beloved team with the likes of our new head coach, Lane Kiffin. Everyone's already talking their shit, especially teams like Ole Miss. But like always, let's rewind back what happened in 2025. Not the season we wanted under Brian Kelly's fourth season, but in the first 8 games, didn't go the way. So when was it we got rid of him? Was it after the Vandy loss or was it after A&M's loss? It was somewhere in between that range. We just had enough of Brian Kelly and we couldn't take it anymore. And we brought Frank Wilson in as the interim coach for the remainder of the season. The offensive coordinator at the time, and then Alex Atkins took over as interim for the remainder of the season, along with Joe Sloan in his second season for the first 8 games. 7-6 season last year. 3-5 in the SEC. Probably the worst SEC record I've seen in almost 20-something years. And not to mention, they had to go to the Texas Bowl and play my alma mater. How'd you think I felt watching my school beat the team I grew up loving my whole life? I didn't. It wasn't supposed to go that way, but it did. A part of me hurt. That the Louisiana side of me hurt. But a little side of me was happy for the alma mater. But God, I did not want Houston winning that game. It was already embarrassing enough. Now, basketball is going to be different. When Houston and LSU, when Kelvin Sampson and Will Wade play on the court, I'm rooting for the Houston Cougars for that. It's at Toyota when we get there. But yeah, bad season we don't want to talk about. But we got new faces, new everything. New head coach Lane Kiffin, new offensive coordinator Charlie West Jr., new co-offensive coordinator in Joe Cox, new co-defensive coordinator in Chris Kiffin. Blake Baker, though, returning in his 3rd season as a defensive coordinator. Impact players. This one, I got a lot on this one. I wish I could just put a lot more people on here than I had, but let's start with our new guy, our new quarterback, Arizona State transfer Sam Leviett, who last season with the Sun Devils, he had over 1,600 passing yards, 10 touchdown passes, and only 3 interceptions. 306 total rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns with Arizona State last season. He's going to be the new quarterback. I have a lot of faith in this guy. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I can't wait to see what he does in the purple and gold, and I'm looking forward to that debut game with Clemson, where we're also going to see the debut of Lane Kiffin. Comes to impact players on offense as well. I'll put a couple running backs in here. I had to put both of them. First, I'm going to start with Caden Durham, who last year only had 505 total rushing yards on 111 carries, 3 rushing touchdowns. I think this is going to be the season where I can see him have 1,000 rushing and at least 10 rushing touchdowns. Another guy I see up there with those numbers is sophomore Harlan Bailey, who almost had 500 rushing yards last year, but he only had 491 on 104 carries with 2 rushing touchdowns. I can see Harlan Berry about 800. I'll give Caden Durham 1,000. I'm going to give Harlan Berry about 800, and I'll give him about close to 10 touchdowns as well. Let's give him 10 as well. Another name. I know tight ends, they're special with us, but we got 2 on here I had to put. These two had great seasons last year. First, I'm going to start with Tradez Green, the former Zachary Bronco. last year, 433 total receiving yards on 33 receptions, 7 touchdowns. Let's get that number to 800. Let's get to at least 800 minimum receiving yards. Let's get about 12 touchdowns for him. Malachi Thomas, another tight end, had to put in there. He had almost 200 total receiving yards last season on 13 receptions and only 2 touchdowns. Let's give him 600 total receiving minimum. Let's give him 7 touchdowns minimum. Maybe we'll move on more. On the receiving end, I put best receiver I can think of from last year, man. I'm going to put Eugene Wilson making his return. 239 total receiving yards last year on 27 receptions, 3 touchdowns. Eugene is going to have over 1,000 receiving yards for sure. He's going to be one of those playmakers for Sam Leviett. He's going to be a great target for Sam Leviett. I'm gonna say 15 touchdowns. I might be off the limb here, but somebody's got to be the most improved guy on offense. I think it could be Eugene Wilson. Also in there, now this guy came from West Florida, but I see this guy name get called a lot. Tyree Holloway. Last season with West Florida, he had 661 total receiving yards on 34 receptions with 8 touchdowns. Not bad. Let's get him 10 touchdowns as well. He had 6. I think he can go almost to 1,000 himself. That's a few guys on. That's my guys right there on offense. I can see it's improved players. Defense, on the other hand, let's start with the man that announced his return during the offseason. We're getting Whitweeks back one more time. The heart and soul of that defense. Last year, 28 total tackles, 13 solo, 15 assists, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery. Man, let's give this guy. Man, I think he's going to have about 7-8 sacks this season. He's going to have up to 100 total tackles, maybe like 40 solo. He's going to have some numbers. He's got a first-round draft pick in 2027. Another guy I'm going to throw. Matter of fact, let me pull the comments back up because Brian here threw one name in there. I'm going to throw in there. He said DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland, Brian Wesco, and TJ Moore. Well, I got PJ and DJ as 2 of my impact players on defense there, Brian. PJ Woodler last season at cornerback, 20 total tackles, 12 solo, 8 assists, 1.5 tackles for a loss, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. I could see him about almost at 100 himself. One of the most impactful players for that DBU right there. I could see PJ. Maybe about 50 solo, I could say minimum. He's going to have some numbers and assists. I need a pick 6 from PJ this season. Give me 1. Give me up to at least 3. Give me about 3 to 5 interceptions for him, but one of them got to be a pick 6, at least 1. DJ Pickett, on the other hand, I see him. He's going to have his name called a lot on SportsCenter. 37 total tackles last season, 29 solo, 8 assists, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, 3 passes broken up, 3 passes deflected, and 3 interceptions. He had 3 last year. I think we could see him at least 5 or more interceptions. About nearly 100 solo tackles himself. Multiple numbers of assists. Let's go for 10 tackles for a loss. Let's bring the sack number up. Let's get him almost to 10 sacks. Another guy I think could be a first-round pick in the 2027 NFL draft if he goes to the draft. I can see him being there. And then one more guy, I got to put a big boy from the defensive line to be an impact player. How about Dominic McKinley at defensive tackle? Last year, McKinley had 12 total tackles, 4 solo, 8 assists, 2 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 1 pass broken up, and 1 pass deflected a season ago. I think he's going to be the most dominant man on that front. I'll say about 50 total tackles this season. About 20 solo. He'll have some assists. He's definitely going to have some tackles for a loss. I want to give him about 8 sacks at least. I can see him with 8, the minimum. And broken up passes, deflected. Well, I mean, I don't know for sure about that one yet. I mean, that can go either way. But that's my impact players going there. That's probably the most I've ever gave in any team I've previewed this season. But let's go on the fun side before I get the schedule reveal. Let's go ahead and look at some uniform swag. Nothing new coming. I mean, it's always the same routine. Most of the time, you're going to see this combo. I'm definitely going to see this week 1. You're going to see this most of the season. Out of 12 games, you might see this 8 out of 12 games. We might see your traditional combo, 8 out of 12. When you want to stick on the white side, I'm not the biggest fan of this combo right here, but I have seen it before. Maybe one game we might see this combo with gold helmet, white jersey, white pants. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Now, the whiteout, I do love the whiteout, but what games will we see this at? I feel like we will see this definitely at a road game. Maybe not at home, but definitely on the road. We'll see an all whiteout. When I look at the schedule, I can probably give you a prediction what that will be. Now, if we're talking purple jerseys, we're going to see this combo maybe at least once. I'm not 100% sure. It could probably be Louisiana Tech's matchup or the McNeese game. We could see this combo. But my most favorite combo ever, white on purple on white. Can we at least get this twice, please? I don't care what game. It could be a home game. It could be a road game. If people don't know me real well, this is my most favorite combo with the purple jersey. White helmet, purple jersey, white pants. That is my, hands down, that's why I'm repping purple tonight. Now, if we're lucky enough, there's always a gold game. I wouldn't mind bringing this baby back. I did enjoy this when they played Vanderbilt a couple seasons ago. I love the gold jersey. Some people don't like it. I love it. It's a fresh throwback. I mean, I wouldn't mind wearing this on homecoming night. But if we have a gold game, I wish Lane Kiffin could start a tradition where when it's the gold game, wear this again. I love this uniform. I like this combo. Tiger Mark said, all white is fresh. Go Tigers. Yeah, all white is fresh. I was blessed to see it a few times. But I never saw the gold jersey in person. But are you guys a fan of this combo that they wore a couple years back with Vanderbilt? Should they bring it back again? Should they have this for gold game? What you guys think? And to close out the LSU preview talk, let's do the real shit. Let's preview the 2026 schedule prediction. There's your schedule right there. With the biggest matchup, start week 1. Clemson in Baton Rouge. And if I'm correct, I want to say this is the first time ever Clemson is coming to the real Death Valley. Anytime they've ever met in the past, it was usually a 2 national championship matchups, a couple of bowl games. I remember one year they lost to Clemson in the Peach Bowl in 2012. But last season, we went to the T-Move Death Valley in South Carolina, handled their business there. Now they're going to get a real taste of a Louisiana Saturday night in the real Death Valley. I really don't know Clemson State here. I mean, this ain't the Clemson team we've seen 5-10 years ago. I don't know what's going on with Dabo's team. But I can tell you what, Lane Kiffin ain't going to do what Brian Kelly did in his debut and take a loss on national television. Lane Kiffin's starting this season off with a win. So give me a win. Matter of fact, give me a win for week 2 as well. Louisiana Tech coming to town as the newest member of the Sun Belt. That's a win there as well. But all eyes are going to be on week 3. Lane Kiffin returns to the Grove, returns to Oxford, and I'm just going to say this personally. We all know College Game Day is going to go to this. I know why didn't they just announce it already? We already know week 1 they're going to Baton Rouge. Week 2 they're going to Texas, Ohio State, which I think it's in Austin. Week 3 they might, they're going to Oxford. They got to. This game is going to determine LSU's fate for the remainder of the season. We're going to see if they talk all that talk. We're going to see who's coming out of Oxford alive. Lane Kiffin come out alive. There's going to be so much security. They're going to have more security for this matchup than they did for Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift's wedding in Madison Square Garden. But of course they're going to win. We have to win this matchup. You talk about would be an embarrassing thing. Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to come to Baton Rouge to try and win a championship. Ole Miss talking that shit. They took our interim. You can have him. They took players from us in the transfer portal. We took some of their players in the transfer portal. That's fighting allegations right now. This rivalry is now at its peak. Over the years, we've said, Alabama's our huge, biggest rival, even though we could never beat them. The Magnolia Bowl just climbed up that ladder of LSU's most intense rivals. It went over Alabama. It went over Arkansas. It went over Texas A&M. This rivalry is going to mean something again. I'm not hating that it's this early in the season. I kind of wish it was really late in the season, but you can't close the season out with Ole Miss. Ole Miss got to close out with the Egg Bowl. But I'll play it early, get it out of the way so we can determine this fate. But they're going to win this game. It might be a struggle win. I would love it to be a blowout, but it won't. It will be a struggle win, a close win. But let's talk about how Ole Miss did last year. Ole Miss, 13-2 overall, 7-1 in the SEC, made the college football playoffs, but fell in the semifinals under Lane Kiffin. This is also going to be a make it or break it for Ole Miss. This matchup's so important for both sides, it's going to determine both the teams' fates. Not to mention Trinidad Chambliss versus Sam Levitt, going to be potential Heisman quarterback against, I think Sam Levitt could shock people and be a potential Heisman quarterback candidate himself. But Ole Miss, they're beating Ole Miss. I am so pumped and hyped for this. I'm more pumped and hyped for this than the Alabama game, to be honest with you. Then week 4, another rivalry game, Texas A&M. Yeah, A&M had a decent season last year, 13-2, 7-1, just like Ole Miss. Also was in the college football playoffs. But it's in Kyle Field. It's in College Station. I think this could be another, close win. They'll beat A&M as well. But it'll be a close game because it's a rivalry. Week 5, tune-up game, McNeese. Throw another win there. I always love going to this matchup because everyone in my hometown will be there. I've talked about it when I previewed McNeese. I love the matchup. It's always a good tune-up game for them to gain their confidence going into SEC play. So, easy win for them against McNeese. Then they go on the road. They go to Kentucky October 10th to play the Wildcats. I think they can handle this one as well. I got them beating Kentucky. So, that now puts them at 6-0. And already bowl eligible. Then week 7, they go to they're back at home. They're hosting Mississippi State. If they don't beat these guys, I'm going to lose my shit. All Mississippi State wants to do is make TikToks these days. But it should be a Saturday night in Death Valley. I think they're going to handle their business with them. Week 8, a rivalry renewed. How long has it been since we played Auburn? Been, about 3 or 4 years? But we got to go to Jordan-Hare. I know Jordan-Hare is a dangerous place to play. By the way, Kentucky, 5-7 last year, 2-6 in the SEC. They're going to handle their business with Kentucky. Mississippi State, 5-8 overall, 1-7. They're going to handle their business with Mississippi State. Auburn, another team that had a bad season a year ago, 5-7 overall, 1-7 in the SEC. But it's a rivalry game. It's the Tiger Bowl. I see them winning it as well, but it's going to be tight. Don't let Auburn fool you guys. Halloween, week 9, they get the bye week. Week 10, usually this is the one game we are always ready to see if we can beat Alabama. But lately, no one's talking about Alabama lately like they used to. Since Kalen DeBoer got to Tuscaloosa, no one gives a shit about Alabama anymore. They might find a way to get in the playoffs, but this is not your Nick Saban's Alabama. Since Saban left Bama, he took the dynasty with them. As long as Kalen DeBoer's in Tuscaloosa, they're not winning shit. Yeah, we should have beaten them a time or two. We should have fucking beat them last year. We should have beat them the year before. But Lane Kiffin will beat them. Lane Kiffin's going to do like – the only thing him and Brian Kelly will have in common in their first year. Brian Kelly beat Alabama his first season. He did it in overtime, and I was over there. Cost Alabama the playoffs. Best game I've ever seen in my life. And I've been to over 70 LSU games in 20-something years. Add another win there. So that would put them at 9-0. Now you're thinking, okay, Mark, you got them going perfect season? You think Lane Kiffin's going to put them in their first season? Well, no. And I'm going to tell you why. It's hard to go LSU's done it before, but for a guy in his first season to go a perfect season, it's very tough. You might be close, but real talk, guys, the Texas game will possibly be their first loss. Steve Sarkisian coming to Death Valley, Arch Manning coming to Death Valley. Texas is going to be one of the hottest teams in the SEC. A potential favorite to win the SEC, a potential team to make the college football playoff. The good news is we don't have Georgia on the schedule. The only way I could see them playing Georgia is if they make it to Atlanta. But in his first season, I don't know. But last year, Texas went 10-3 overall, 6-2 in the SEC, short of the playoffs last season. Texas is a potential favorite to go to the playoffs this year and win the SEC. This is going to be a loss, and it hurts to say that, but I have a feeling if there's one game at home, and this is their final home game, if there's a home game they're going to throw away or play their ass off, but they come up short, it's going to be the Texas game. Something tells me this is going to be a loss. I would love for it to be a win, but something tells me it will be a loss. Then they close out their last two on the road. They go to Rocky Top on November 21st to play Tennessee. Again, I think they're going to have an outstanding road record, but there's going to be one road game. They're going to fucking blow it away and throw it away. That's why I was looking at road games like Ole Miss and Auburn. If they're going to lose one road game, luckily I have them beating Ole Miss and I have them beating Auburn. But those two can go either way. But I would not be surprised if they lose two in a row. If they lose to Texas, potentially they will lose to Tennessee as well. Tennessee last season, average season like LSU, they went 8-5 overall, 4-4 in the SEC. Tennessee's tough to play at home as well. Neyland Stadium is a tough place. Wouldn't be surprised they lose two in a row. I have them losing no more than 2 games. Because Arkansas, they're going to win. They're going to win Arkansas. They're going to beat Arkansas. So basically, I have LSU going 10-2. 10-2 overall. They'll be short going to the SEC championship, but they're in the college football playoffs. That's all that matters. And there's nothing more I would love than to see a playoff game in Baton Rouge. Can you imagine the tailgating, the atmosphere, the scenery? You might as well bring College Game Day to Baton Rouge if there's a playoff game on campus. We've seen schools have great playoff atmospheres. We've seen Notre Dame. We've seen Indiana. We've seen Texas A&M. We've seen Penn State. Who else has had home playoff games over the years? Texas was another one. Wait till they host a playoff game in Death Valley. Holy shit. It will be nothing like you've seen before. But this is where I'm going to jump the gun, too, before I wrapped up this LSU talk. But as you can see, I have them going overall record 10-2. So that would put their SEC record 7-2 in the SEC. He's going to bring them to the playoffs their first season. His first season, sorry. They're going to the playoffs for the second time ever since the CFP era. in his first season, he will bring LSU to the playoffs. I have them at least getting to the quarterfinals. They're going to get past the first round, but I think their season could break by the quarterfinals, or if we're lucky enough to get to the semis. But I have them at least getting to the quarterfinals. Not a bad season. Not a bad first start for Lane Kiffin. Could boost the Rockets up going into the following season, because if you forgot, the 2027-2028 season, the national championship game is in the Superdome. The last 4 times the national title was in the Superdome, who played in that title game? Who've won 3 national championships out of those last 4 appearances in the Superdome? LSU. It's like, I wouldn't call it a curse. It's a curse for the opposing team. But watch LSU make it his second season as head coach. He will bring them their 5th national championship. I am calling it right now. You're hearing this July 30th, 2026. First season in the playoffs, at least in the quarterfinals. His second season, they are winning the national championship for a 5th time. I am calling it right now. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And thanks for coming to that TED Talk. But that is all I got on that historic preview I did on LSU. But show's far from over. I got one more little thing I want to do. I gotta get an update on the New Orleans Saints training camp. This should be a quickie, but let's take it to the 504 and talk a little update on the New Orleans Saints training camp. So let's go ahead and take it to the 504, folks. And then we will close shop for the night. All right, let's do this. All right, now we're in the 504, and I know I haven't talked this in a while. We haven't talked really Saints lately, but football season is nearly here. I'll give a quick update on the New Orleans Saints training camp. I know the players started making their way to the Ochsner Sports Performance Center up there in Metairie, also where the New Orleans Pelicans also train as well, doing their summer league right now. Here's how – luckily, I've got actually the schedule of how practice is going to go. Today, they just did helmets. They're going shell tomorrow. Again, on August, they get an off day Saturday. Then they're going to go back shell on Sunday and Monday, August 2nd and 3rd. They'll get an off day on my birthday, Tuesday, August the 4th. And then they put the full pads on starting Wednesday, August 5th. And then after that, they'll get a couple days rest. They'll be back in full pads on Saturday, August 8th and 9th. They will have a joint practice on Thursday, August 13th with the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center. And they will also have a special practice at Tulane on August 26th, but they'll go shell for that one down there at Yeoman Stadium. So that's a little update on their schedule there. But let's get an update and see how they did. Speaking of that, let's talk about one of those guys. Chris Olave signed his 4-year extension with the New Orleans Saints up to $132 million. That's including $90 million in guarantee money. So one of our star receivers, he's going to be sticking around for a while. I mean, Chris Olave, he is one of the most improved wide receivers we got, and I do enjoy watching him. Great target for Tyler Shuck. Also, with the Hall of Fame next week, Drew Brees announced his former coach, Sean Payton, to present him and enshrine him into the Hall of Fame, which no better guy than Sean Payton for that. So, yeah, he's still the head coach for the Denver Broncos, but, man, Sean Payton and Drew Brees got a special bond. They always had a special bond in those great years when they were together. And I wouldn't have wanted nobody else to enshrine Drew Brees than Sean Payton. All right, so let's see. Let's get an update here on the New Orleans Saints training camp before we wrap up tonight's show. Let's see. Let's go back to Tuesday. Like I said, we already know Chris Olave just did the extension, but he trained with Tyler Shuck and several other players He's still well, I'm going to skip that part. He already got his contract extension. But rookie wideout Jordan Tyson had was also limited during OTAs and minicamp with his hamstring injuries. So his usage during the acclimation period of training camp this week will be something. But that was back on Tuesday. Hopefully he'll get fully healthy. By the way, not the way you want to start off training camp. Having to make some severe changes on defense. Brian Brzee tore his ACL, so now we have to call the next man up to replace him. It was an outstanding nose tackle, and it sucked what happened. And it always sucks when someone has a season-ending injury during training camp, man. My heart goes out to him, man. That fucking sucks, man. We were all excited getting Travis Etienne and how exciting the offense was going to be and getting ready for the season. Going to training camp, we get our first serious injury in Brian Brzee. Man, fucking sucks. So you're going to have to call the next man up. So I was making a couple predictions here of who can I see fill that void there at nose tackle. You know, who's going to be that guy? I mean, you got Christian Miller, John Ridgeway, Nathan Shepard, Javier Suggs, Xavier Harris, you know, one of those guys. Vernon Broughton, that's another one. Like, one of those guys could fill that void for Brian Brzee. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But here's some news from yesterday. Chris Olave didn't participate in his 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 drills, but his absence wasn't medically related, according to Kellen Moore. He was elected to hold in as they worked through a contract, were working for his contract extension, and did individual position drills, but watched the team drills from the sideline. But yeah, like I said, we don't need no more serious injuries. I mean, like, work steady with him. He just signed that extension. We don't need another serious injury here. But I mean, Chris Olave been around the team all off season and been a participant in most of the team's off-season practices on a limited basis. While he didn't fully participate, Jordan Tyson did have a noticeable step up. He had a better day. He was limited earlier in the offseason due to his hamstring issue, but he did participate in the 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills in their first practice. A couple other observations we have here. How about Travis Etienne and Alvin Kamara getting first team reps? Now, Kendra Miller did get some reps on the second team, where he did tear his ACL last season, so he's healthy. He's in camp training along with Kamara and Etienne. I said the running back room is going to be special with those three. Let's see. Charlie Smith also went 5 for 5 in kicks today, but he'll be rotating reps and competing with Tanner Brown, who was a former kicker in the UFL. So they're going to be rotating around there. Taysom Hill made the big announcement yesterday. Like, he's not returning to New Orleans, but I'm going to say something at the end to close out on Taysom Hill. But while the Saints started camp, like I mentioned, Brian Brzee, yeah, I already mentioned that. Here's some observations that happened today so far. Chase Young ran the defense had a key sequence at the end of practice in red zone work. You know, Chase Young ran into Tyler Shuck. Quincy Riley intercepting Shuck on the next play. Shuck didn't have the best performance today while looking for Jordan Tyson, but he shook it off and responded with a touchdown throw to Jordan Tyson, the rookie. So we're looking forward to seeing his name getting called a lot. But Tyson did get plenty of reps in his second day of camp, including a touchdown. Chris Olave, who was taking part in the second day of his hold-in before, announced his new deal and did work on 11-11 drills and did watch from the sidelines. Plus, they also had fans watching. So, I mean, the practice, the training camp's open for the fans to watch. I know they have you can get tickets and whatnot. You can take pictures and sign autographs with them after. Tanner Brown went 4 for 5 and missed the PAT. And Kool-Aid McKinstry ended early after he rolled his ankle. So we had a little minor injury there. Hope nothing severe like Brian Brzee. But Kool-Aid, man, we can't lose him either. We already lost one big defensive talent. We can't lose a second. But other than that, I mean, I think things will get better. I'm not saying this team is going to be like a Super Bowl contender, but I have them at least winning the NFC South and a potential playoff run. So I'll keep you guys more updated on team camp. But by the way, I want to close out by saying thank you to one of the very best New Orleans Saints. If you guys remember, Taysom Hill announced his departure. He's not returning with the New Orleans Saints. He will officially be a free agent. He stated, he got on social media and stated his case. Even did like a big tribute video for him, narrated by Drew Brees. But started his career, he was a part of the practice squad with the Green Bay Packers, but since 2017, he's been a New Orleans Saint. He's been in the black and gold. So all his statistics, I'm going to name down the list, came as a New Orleans Saint. This kid can play everything from a tight end to a quarterback to a running back, a wide receiver, special teams. He has done it all. There ain't going to be nobody like Taysom Hill. Nobody. And the Jets game I attended to, he had a record-breaking night. The only man ever to go 1,000 in receiving, passing, and rushing yards during their Super Bowl era. It was because of that Jets game I attended. He set that record. He also holds a record for most single-season touchdowns without a turnover by a quarterback with 7 in 2019. 2,426 passing yards, 2,551 rushing yards, 1,034 receiving yards, 489 return yards, 19 total tackles, and 57 total touchdowns. There ain't going to be nobody like Taysom Hill. I know we always say Drew Brees was our GOAT, but I would put Taysom Hill like up in that pedestal, right below Drew Brees, be the second best Saint. Some people might think I'm crazy, but that's just me. Because, I mean, there's been other great Saints that have come and gone. No one's going to be above Drew Brees. But someone that's going to be right below him, I think, is Taysom Hill. That boy was a special player. And I wish he would stay, but I respect his decision. And all I can say for Taysom is thank you for everything you've done for the city of New Orleans, for the Saints franchise. I was honored to finally see you play as a Saint against the New York Jets this past December, because I haven't been to a Saints game in quite a long time. I think it's been a decade. Like before that Jets game, the last game I went to was a preseason Patriots game in 2015. So like 2 years before you came. But I enjoyed watching you on TV, making my jaw drop, whether you're playing quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, or returning on special teams. You were something, man. And I enjoyed, like I said, I'll never forget that Jets game where you balled the hell out. Well, that's going to wrap up tonight's show. And speaking of the New Orleans Saints, going into the month of August, while I'm going live, I'm not going to call it a watch-along, but I'll be checking out the Hall of Fame game. But next Thursday, August 6th, I will be doing my second and final NFL team preview. I will be in New Orleans talking to the New Orleans Saints on August 6th. Predicting the schedule, showing some uniform swag of what I want to see, and impact players who I see coming into the 2026 season. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be on my P's and Q's like I was with the LSU one tonight. But thank y'all for tuning in. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Like I said, stay hot. It's so hot outside. Stay hydrated. Stay cool. And I will see you guys next Thursday again. Thanks for all the love and support. Be sure to check out everyone else on Driving to the Top Productions. All great stuff, great content. And I'm blessed and honored to give you guys content all across I-10 from Houston to New Orleans, giving you all their sorts of stuff from the 713 to the 337 to the 225 and the 504. But other than that, folks, I'm going to wrap up for the night. This will be it. And I will catch you guys next week. Peace, love, I'm out. God bless. God bless America. Y'all take care, folks.